Hey guys, welcome back to Eric Reacts with Season 6, Episode 6 of Game of Thrones. This is Blood of My Blood. Bran and Mira barely escaped last episode, and it turns out Bran is the reason why Hodor could only say the word Hodor, and that was such an emotional gut punch, guys. But they're headed south of the wall now without Hodor. I only hope they don't run into wildlings or whites or a White Walker on the way there. That would be, I don't know how they could survive any of that. We saw that Arya is not completely no one, but she had to be no one to recover her sight. I guess it's possible with the return of her sight, it was once again possible to fulfill all the things she had given up on when she thought she'd be blind forever. I don't know, but she was uncomfortable, to say the least, about the man's portrayal of Ned in that play, and she was hesitant about killing someone good, Lady Crane. Will she give up her own misgivings to serve, or we'll see what happens, because if she fails again, I don't know what happens there. But the episode title is Blood of My Blood, and I'm pretty sure that's something the Dothraki have said multiple times in the past, so it looks like Daenerys' plot will likely continue in some significant manner. We've seen the Dothraki bow to her, but maybe she builds that bond with them a little bit more by tapping into her past with Khal Drogo or with the Dothraki themselves. Anyway, guys, I'm excited to get into this episode. If you want to check out the full reaction on Patreon with the footage, check out that link in the description below. Now, let's get started. Hodor's not dead. He can't be. He's not. Oh, what if he comes back as a white?
Burn them all!
Where's my sister?
Oh. Who saw? That was here? Was that here?
They found us.
Oh, it is now. What the heck? Wait. Is that freaking Benjen? It's freaking Ghost Rider, man.
Come with me.
It is. Now. It is. I recognize his eyes.
My father doesn't like wildlings. He hoped I'd make a man of myself by killing some bloody wildling, so it's probably a good subject to avoid, if at all possible.
Hello, little one.
Aww.
It's me, your grandmother.
Aww.
Oh, and a dress for dinner. You can wear one of mine. What's your colour? Midnight blue or
What's color?
silver?
I don't
Silver,
think
maybe.
I don't think she's ever had anything of color. She must be furious with him. And she has to pretend.
It's not an easy thing admitting to yourself what you really are. It's taken me a while. He's helped me.
You're the best person I know. I was just telling him about your devotion to the poor.
Ah, yes, I visited their hovels and I fed them soup and I made sure I was seen doing it.
Oh my god. Such a different look for her.
It's hard to walk in this.
Your father taught you to hunt? Our father would never teach us. I think our father could learn a thing or two from your father.
That's enough of that. Not fat enough already. I thought the Night's Watch might make a man of you.
Spending your life reading about the achievements of better men.
He killed a Thenn. Killed a White Walker. I saw it with my own eyes on our way down to Castle Black. He drove a dagger into the Walker's heart.
Your way down to Castle Black. You're a wildling. It was a wildling horde that seduced my son. This you getting back at me, boy? Bringing that to my table and making me dine with it.
I've lost my appetite.
He dishonors us.
You dishonor yourself.
I'm sorry I let him treat you that way. I was afraid he'd turn you and little Sam away.
He knows. Little Sam knows.
Say goodbye to him for me.
I'll be back. What?
Sam?
We're leaving.
What?
What?
Get your things.
I don't have any things.
Looks better on you anyway.
He's taking.
That's your father's sword.
It's my sword.
My family sword.
Won't he come for it?
He can try.
He can bloody well try.
Poison! Murder! Oh my God! I die!
Arya's the only one laughing.
I remember when the players came to my village. I didn't have any money, so I snuck in. Just like you. I ran off and joined them the next day. Never looked back.
Oh, look at that.
My final speech is shit. But to be fair to myself, which I always like to be, the writing's no good.
So change it. She would be angry. She would want to kill the person who did this to her.
Do you like pretending to be other people?
I have to go. My father's waiting for me.
He's trying to recruit her to her troop.
My work. This is my
Lady
profession.
Crane.
You know what I'm doing. You have no right to an opinion.
Careful of that one. She wants you dead.
Oh, oh no. It's gone. It's here. Is she gonna run? What is she gonna do?
You promised me.
Don't let her suffer.
No, come on. All right, all right. Isn't she supposed to be no one? She's clearly gonna enjoy doing this. In the dark, using her past as a strength. All right. Ooh, things are really coming to a head this season.
Every last sparrow will die before Marjorie Tyrell walks down that street.
To die in the service of the gods would please each and every one of us. We yearn for it.
Then die.
But there is no call for it today.
What?
There will be no walk of atonement. Queen Marjorie has already atoned for her sins by bringing another into the true light of the Seven.
The Tommen? I almost said the Tommen.
A holy alliance between the crown and the faith.
Ooh. There's some dissonance weaved in there.
What's happening?
He's beaten us. That's what's happening.
You've lost it.
Freaking Walder Frey. Lost what?
Yes, Father.
Oh, River Run?
It's a castle.
River Run can withstand a siege for a year.
If I want excuses, I'll put her in charge. They're laughing at us.
That young
He'll never yield, Father.
woman.
Oh, he'll yield.
Oh.
You'll show him the knife you used to kill Robb Stark's child in its whore mother's belly. You'll remind him who it was that got married at the Red Wedding in the first place.
I'm being sent to deal with the Blackfish. Apparently,
Oh.
Walder Frey can't manage it on his own because he's 400 years old. Sent me with an army to the Riverlands,
And I'll remove the High Sparrow's head and every other sparrowhead I can find.
You can't.
He has our son! He stole our son!
he's torn our family apart. How should we treat people who tear us apart?
We should treat them without mercy, and we will. But if you kill the High Sparrow, you won't leave the Sept alive, and without you, this is all for nothing.
If the trial soon, I need to be here for you.
It will be a trial by combat. I have the mountain.
Mountain almost lost last time. This is Benjen. Oh yeah, Benjen. This is Benjen, right? Whoa, 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 what? His skin is... Is it decaying?
Uncle Benjen. The White Walker stabbed me in the gut with a sword of ice. His children found me. Stopped the Walker's magic from taking hold.
How?
The same way they made the Walkers in the first place. You saw it yourself.
Wait, wasn't he...
One way.
Wait, that was blood juice from a rabbit.
He will find his way to the world of men.
What's... Drogon. See you riding on top? Yeah.
Echal, bintir na hano kay sendo trakoy. Bosman ha boskal. Hanna bobogag sendo trakoy. Hanna ogag ierie.
Ooh. Oh man. Did the people in the back hear her? So I think I was just too emotional after Hodor's reveal at the end of last episode, but I didn't even think to say that, like, yeah, Hodor's body is still up in the north. It wasn't burned. I feel like there's a 0% chance that we don't see him again as a white, and he'll run into one of the Starks. That is gonna be rough. If I had to guess, it'd be Jon and Bran at the same time. Like Bran just for that additional heartache of seeing his actions resulting in Hodor becoming a white, and Jon to fight him. We also had that line a few seasons ago when Sam said that Jon talked about Hodor a lot. To see that turned around and have Jon have to be the one to finish him for good, that would be really rough. But Bran is still having visions while Mira pulls him along. We see a few things we haven't seen before, but that we knew about. Aerys giving the order to burn them all. Jaime killing him. We've also seen Bran falling several times in his visions. I don't remember if it's ever been confirmed that he knows Jaime pushed him. If he does, I'm curious how Bran feels about Jaime now. Like, he sees him killing Aerys, saving hundreds of thousands of people. But he also nearly died because of Jaime. But did it also lead to him having these powers? That's another character interaction I wouldn't mind seeing, though. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. Interesting that Bran saw the whites coming for them, and he's actually pretty calm about it. Possibly because he saw himself in the future, so he knows he'll survive this. But he doesn't know Benjen will be the one to save him, so he can't glimpse the entire timeline just yet. I'm wondering if the Three-Eyed Raven before him could see, like, completely, like, everything. Like, if he knew how everything would end, who sits on the throne, are they able to fend off the White Walkers, stuff like that. Benjen, though, freaking Benjen. Like, I had a feeling he'd pop up soon after he came back into the story at the end of last season. Like, when the Night's Watch told Jon a wildling had seen Benjen north of the wall. Like, I'm not sure if that was actually true that he was seen, but I was like, the writers are bringing him back up after all this time for a reason. And then we saw him in Bran's visions. But it was a very slow reveal as to who it was. I was just like, who else up in the north could it be? Everyone is either south of the wall or dead. Or there might be some, like, straggling wildlings out here and there, but I don't think we ever saw any of them ride a horse. Then again, like a few seasons ago, Jon was at Castle Black, and he was like, that's my Uncle Benjen's horse when it came back. So I guess Benjen wound up taking one from a fallen comrade or something. But I definitely got, like, strong Ghost Rider vibes from Benjen immediately. One of the coolest fictional characters ever. Not the version played by Nicolas Cage, that was bad. But Gabriel Luna plays Robbie Reyes, who was Ghost Rider on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he was so cool. But yeah, that fire shackle chain that Benjen was using, Ghost Rider uses a flaming chain too, but I'd say that shackle might be cooler. And I thought Benjen's skin was, like, messed up, like decaying maybe from frostbite or hypothermia. Though decaying might not be the right word for those conditions. But he's saying he died and was kept alive by the children using dragon glass on him. So it's such a very versatile material. Like, it was used to turn someone into a White Walker, but it can also save him from dying. It's very interesting. Sam and Gilly head to Sam's home. Hornhill, I think it's Hornhill. I'll go double check that on Viewer's Guide later. Sam was right about Melissa and Tala. They're very sweet people. It was really nice to see Sam reunite with some of his family. But Randall Tarley was as bad as he sounded from Sam's anecdotes. He has a very specific vision of what a man should be, what his son should be, just warped by so much like toxic masculinity. Like, it needs to be slim and strong and a good fighter. You're too fat. I thought you were good. You could be a real man. So much bullshit. Gilly gave herself up though as a wildling. It was difficult to watch Randall just continue piling on Sam though. Sam was like shaking while he was taking that verbal abuse. We find out later that he was suppressing a lot of rage so that Gilly could stay. So that shaking might have been from suppressing that rage, but the shaking also might have been the result of trauma too, so could be both. But seriously, screw Randall. I hope he meets a bitter end. Not a fan of his younger son either, but maybe he's salvageable if he's got an ounce of his mother in him. But I feel really bad for Melissa Tarley though. Probably an arranged marriage, as most highborn marriages are. And to be stuck with Randall for so long, she must have suffered plenty of abuses as well. But yeah, I love how the whole scene went down when Sam was leaving. I was just like, no, don't leave Gilly and little Sam here. I think with Melissa and Tala there, it might have been okay, but I don't feel comfortable with Gilly and Sam there under the same roof as Randall. Sam leaves though. I thought he was leaving like, I was like, all Terminator, like, I'll be back. I thought maybe somewhere down the line in another season or two, he'd have a heartfelt reunion with Gilly, but he literally comes back like 20 seconds later. It actually gave me a bit of a jump scare when he came back inside, and then he freaking stole Heartsbane. Will Randall come after him? Like, how well guarded is the Citadel? I've never actually heard if there is anything guarding the Citadel. Like, if an invading force wanted to cripple Westeros, could they just up and kill everybody in the Citadel? And is that... Well, it wouldn't cripple them, like immediately, but, like, for the future, it would be pretty bad. But yeah, is that Valyrian sword and Sam's betrayal worth Randall Tarley going after the Citadel and sending forces after him? I don't know. But yeah, I have a few questions about Valyrian steel. I don't know if I forgot or what, but is Valyrian steel created from the same material as regular steel? Is just treated with a different process? Like, I haven't thought about this before because we haven't had a scholar with possession of the Valyrian steel before. But if it's just a different process, is it possible to reverse engineer the process? Sam is one of the most book smart characters on the show. Maybe he can team up with a blacksmith to get it done, to create new steel, especially if it needs dragonfire. Like, it needs dragonfire though, so Daenerys would also have to come to Westeros before that could happen. Speaking of blacksmiths though, what if Sam can team up with Gendry to try and learn how to do it? That would be really cool. I'm guessing Gendry has been back in King's Landing for a while, but I would also buy it if we see him somewhere else completely different. But it's if that's not an option, it would be really cool if Jon came to visit Sam at the Citadel and Sam gives him Heartsbane, so like Jon can dual wield like Arthur Dayne. It'll never happen because he's not trained to fight like that, and it would be ridiculous and like it would break the immersion, but it would be so awesome to watch. Also, imagine Arthur Dayne using two Valyrian Valyrian swords. He could probably shatter, like the way Brienne shattered swords with her Valyrian steel sword. Can you imagine Arthur Dayne like twirling around the swords like a freaking hurricane and just shattering swords everywhere? Oh man, maybe he can get like a third Valyrian steel and just hold it in his mouth like Zorro from One Piece. All right, that's overdoing it for this kind of show, just a little bit. All right, Arya, I was actually surprised she poisoned Lady Crane, but Lady Crane tried to show her kindness, wasn't mad at her that she didn't pay to watch the theatrics, was seemingly willing to offer Arya the same experience she had, the chance to be an actress in this troupe. I'm just thinking, like, faceless men would be such great actors if, like, they would advance. They could, like, become parts of, like, real, like, classics in theater, but they've got other plans. Arya's a pretty good actress already, though, and when she tells Lady Crane to play Cersei more truthfully, that Cersei would be furious at having those she loved most ripped away from them and would swear vengeance on everything, I was like, oh, like Arya understands Cersei's psychology that well. Like, she had Lady killed because Joffrey was bitten by Nymeria, and she was just willing to do whatever petty things she could for revenge. But it's also that Arya herself feels this way, like the people she loves being torn away has made her willing to do anything for that revenge. So she's offering that advice to Lady Crane to make it more authentic. But yeah, if she had in any way forgotten who she was and if Arya had in any way forgotten who she was and what her goals are, that conversation with Lady Crane definitely served as a reminder. And after Lady Crane's kindness, or maybe to thank her for reminding her of her purpose, Arya couldn't go through with assassination. And I really like that. But it sets up a conflict. The Waif saw her. I was really surprised to see that needle was still there when Arya went back for it. Like, the Waif was keeping an eye on her in that tent with the actors, but she didn't follow Arya to the docks when she was throwing away her things. That's weird. But now Jaqen sent the Waif after Arya. I don't know, man. I thought despite the fact that he's a faceless man, Jaqen had some kind of kinship with Arya. But good job by Arya, though, going into a dark room with a single light source. That could give her the advantage against the Waif, though we don't know what training the Waif has had. Maybe she could be training and fighting blind as well. Maybe she could have trained when fighting blind as well. But meanwhile, in King's Landing, Jaime and Mace Tyrell make their moves and are ready to storm the Sept. Mace is so bad at everything, I feel like. Like, his speech to his men was so uninspiring. Jaime was just like... But it doesn't matter. Like, Margie was spared the Walk of Atonement because she successfully converted Tommen. But I would love to believe that Tommen is just faking it and hasn't actually converted, but he hasn't shown that level of savvy and foresight ever. I still feel like Marjorie is pretending to convert, though. So maybe she could get him on board with pretending to convert. But we also saw them alone talking for a bit, and she didn't indicate to him anything like that at all. I guess if I was in her situation, I wouldn't trust him enough to actually tell him either. Like, the stakes are too high, and it's a sucky situation. But I believe she's manipulating both the High Sparrow and Tommen. I don't know if the High Sparrow believes her, but Tommen, he loves her so much, he thinks he does. He'd buy anything she says. With Marjorie, though, it's possible she had some time to reflect and will become a better person. Like, maybe. Like, even if she is pretending to go along with the High Sparrow, there might be some lessons that she learned about herself. Like, it wouldn't take converting for herself to see herself differently after this experience. Like, a lot of things she said sounded actually really true. Like, for instance, she realized that she was good at seeming good. Actually, you know what? I think if she really had been converted, she would have had to admit to Tommen that she had been manipulating him before they got married. So I was like 75% sure she was faking, but realizing what I just said, I'm up to like 99%. I was actually really reminded of the play depicting the struggle for Westeros, where Ned Stark was like, "What's that mean? What's that mean?" I feel like that's exactly how Mace Tyrell was like when he sees Tommen coming out of the Sept, like converted. Olenna was just like, he won. Come on, you. Duh. Olenna and Tywin like cursed with one really dumb child each. It's really funny. Though Mace is much dumber than Cersei. Jaime got dismissed from the Kingsguard, though, sent elsewhere to fight the Blackfish at Riverrun. Really big coincidence, though. Brienne is headed there last episode to convince Blackfish to fight on Sansa's side. That will be, like, if they meet, I don't know what happens since they're on opposing sides now, but I think Tommen converted for real. If he didn't, he wouldn't send away an ally in Jaime. It just wouldn't make sense. But we get reintroduced to Walder Frey now, too. I assumed he still had Edmure. I said that last episode. Worst wedding ever. Worst wedding ever. Getting reintroduced to some old characters, though. Edmure, Walder Frey. We'll see the Blackfish before too long. Edmure was kind of dumb back then. Like, so happy about... it was a mill, like a stone mill. It wasn't a windmill, right? They didn't have windmills, right? But he didn't deserve this. Like, it was... oh, man. And, of course, Walder Frey's next wife was even younger than the last one. Just really disgusting. And then we have Daenerys heading back to Meereen when she senses Drogon's presence. The Dothraki had only heard of dragons before, I'm guessing. I don't think they've ever seen... I mean, the Dothraki that weren't with Daenerys, they haven't seen a dragon before. And Daenerys was saving her big speech for when she could ride on top of a dragon. And she is one heck of a speech giver. Sometimes she knows just which rules to break for like the best results, to inspire the most confidence, the most loyalty, the most everything. 3 blood riders? No, I'm going to have thousands. My concern is, though, the Dothraki still have their culture of claiming, like, the spoils of war. Like, will they stay loyal when their Khaleesi doesn't allow them to murder and rape their way across Essos and Westeros? That's hard to say. As for the score of this episode, I am going to give it 3 direwolves. Solid episode, but mostly an episode focused on setting up what's to come. Looking forward to the Blackfish showdown a lot, actually. He's going to want to help Sansa, but they'll have to take out the Freys for him to be able to join her. Arya is going to be fighting the Waif for her life. It's going to suck when Bran and Benjen arrive at the wall and Jon's not there to meet them, but I'm sure Ed will let them through. Would have been a happy reunion with Jon, though, but hey. Daenerys is getting back to Meereen soon with the full backing of the Dothraki. Cersei's planning something for revenge. This is just so much stuff coming up. This is actually the lowest score I gave an episode this season, but it sets up so much for an epic last 4 episodes of the season, and I can't wait. Alright guys, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to watch the next 3 episodes right now, make sure to check out the early access option on Patreon in the link in the description below or over here. And thanks for watching. Bye friends.